Hello, good morning. How are you? I just thought of reading again on the topic of the spirit world as this time in history and the situations that are going on in the country and in the world. I felt there is more things that we need to understand, not just our physical situation this time, but the most important thing that we need to understand is the spirit world, because once we know the spirit world, then we can understand how we should live our lives and how we can really make a difference in our physical lives on earth. So I thought I should continue reading that. Um, Yesterday I was reading about the spirit world, and today I want to share with you again on the topic on the nature of the spirit world. It is from the book. It's called the Holy Scripture of Chon Song Yong. It's from page 702. It's the chapter on the nature of the spirit world. So it says, understanding the reality of the spirit world. It is important for you to understand the spirit world. What happens when you learn about what your ancestors from thousands of years ago are doing in the spirit world? By understanding clearly that you will inevitably face the same fate, you can transcend difficult problems on this earth. Because I know all this, I do not despair no matter what persecution I receive. Because I know much more than this. And because I know where the highest value lies, I can ignore and overcome all difficulties. This is from compilation of the speeches of Reverend Sun Young Moon. And he is an authority on the spirit world. That is his forte. The world of the light of love. Number two, the spirit world is the original garden of God's eternal ideal. How wonderful is the original garden! It is beyond description. Even if you were to gaze at just one of the secrets in the palace of the heavenly kingdom, you will not tire of the sight even after 10,000 years. Your lifetime on earth is mere instant. Your lifetime on earth is a mere instant. The spirit world, on the other hand, is eternal. Compared to your life in the spirit world, your life on earth is shorter than a breath. The spirit world exists for this world, and this world exists for the eternal world. It is wrong to say that the spirit world does not exist. I am doing this providential work because the spirit world does exist. You may say, where is the world? Where in this world is God? And where is the spirit world? I don't know. But the spirit world is the place where you find God. What does God exist as? God is true love. His hopes can only be realized through love. In the spirit world, there is no shadows. It overflows with the sunlight of eternal morning. The white light is so bright that it changes to purple and takes on silver and golden hues. The light produced by electricity is similar to the light of love. An electric light illuminates when a positive charge interacts with a negative charge. In the same way, God's internal nature and external form come together and manifest as something similar to lightning. It is the light of eternal true love. That is the essence of eternal life. You need to arrive at that final destination. The spirit world is an eternal place that seeks eternal elements. A spirit person who has experienced love on earth will unfailingly and automatically be drawn into that world. That person gravitates to the part of the spirit world that has as much love as he felt here on the earth, then what kind of place is the spirit world? What kind of place is the spirit world? Have you asked about that? I'm sure every one of us has that question because that's the thing that not many of us know. Then what kind of place is the spirit world? I just Then what kind of place is the spirit world? It is a world of harmony, brimming with love, where everything is imbued with love. It is not wrong to assert that this entire universe is put in motion by a single press of a button of love. Accordingly, accordingly, it is not wrong to assert that this entire universe is put in motion by a single press of the button of love. Accordingly, the place where all light bulbs of love light up is the kingdom of heaven on earth. And the kingdom of heaven in the spirit world is where light bulbs can fully light up with greater intensity. That is why when you harbor love in your heart and pull on the rope of love, everything will be pulled toward you. The spirit world is a world of intuition, where within a week you can surpass the knowledge of any scholar, however distinguished or great. By seeing things through the light of your heart, you will automatically understand the world and all its related interconnections. This is because, from the viewpoint of the heart, they are in a certain relationship with you as your subject partner or counterpart. Once we dwell in the spirit world through the power of true love, we can meet people, however distant, in the twinkling of an eye. And no matter how far away people are, they are visiting for love. If they are visiting for love, they can travel back to their hometown in an instant. The spirit world is a limitless, expansive world, but it is also a world in which we are all able to go back and forth instantaneously over infinite distances on account of love. Love travels at the highest speed, but if you do not have the foundation of a unified love in your mind and body, you will have nothing to do in that world. Accordingly, the origin of unification is not something that just happens in the external world. It is something that you initiate. In the spirit world, you will fly. You will fly around so fast, you will not even be seen. Since true love has the highest speed, God also possesses true love, can leap across the vast universe in one bound and work in different places at once. You will all be able to do the same. In the spirit world, the entire universe, no matter how vast, will be the stage for your activities. There are many dream mines in the spirit world with an endless supply of gold, silver, and precious stones. And when it comes to flowers, when someone they like or someone they love approaches, even if flowers have been sleeping, they will open up their eyes and mouths wide and welcome that person. Wow, the hierarchy in the spirit world. Time to understand the spirit world. It looks so interesting. When you consider the spirit world, what kind of structure does it have? It has the same structure as that of God and his object partner, humankind. The spirit world was created in the form of an object partner to God, similar to an to a human being. This is why all people created with the same external form as God. become one person resembling him. Up to this point, God has continuously, up to this point, God has continued to create human beings, people of character representing the universe. They include the yellow, white, and black people, and including brown too. But they are all, in a sense, one person. Each of you is like a cell that makes up a part of God. This design of God's is similar to the cells composing our body. To God, we are people who exist as the individual cells of His body. He is our Father. He is our parent, and we are like His flesh. This is why God wants to make people. The structure of the spirit world is also like this. When you go to the spirit world, you will notice that it resembles a person. As such, it can become one with God, its subject partner. Then the boundary between the entire spirit world and the entire physical world becomes fuzzy. When God jumps, when God jumps, the earth will jump. And when God laughs, so will the earth. That is how it is. Once you go to the spirit world, you will see that it is structured like a person. What is the structure of the spirit world? Because the spirit world enveloped not through true parents, but through false parent after the fall. It is not as it should be. Only a spirit world, untouched by the fall, should exist. The spirit world will not the spirit world will return to its original state only when God's providential will for salvation is fulfilled. The Lord of the second advent must reorganize it after completing the will on earth. The spirit world needs to be restored. The paradise, the middle realms, and all the religious realms exist in the spirit world. Hell is connected to those realms of the spirit world. In the spirit world that is connected to hell, married life is not permitted. All such things are forbidden. All the spirits may hide in corners of hell and perpetuate fallen acts. Even those who belong to the realm of paradise live by themselves. The spirit world should be a world that is aligned with the vertical noontime, without shadows, bathed in sunlight, bathed in bright sunlight. Instead, it is a mixture of good and bad. It consists of the highest spirit world, the first spirit world, the second spirit world, and the third spirit world. Moreover, different animals live in each of these divisions. In the highest spirit world, animals praise their master. They are all friends. You cannot enter the kingdom of heaven by yourself. Your original ancestors your original ancestors should first have grown to maturity, establish the true ideal of God-centered love. Your original ancestors should first have grown into maturity, establish the true ideal of God-centered love, live as such people on earth, become parents, left behind the seeds of true love, and then enter the kingdom of heaven. And to this day, however, there have been no God-centered parents who were able to leave the seed of love on this earth. Because the foundation to leave such descendants could not be established, the kingdom of heaven remains empty to this day. What is the structure of the spirit world where God dwells? Of the kingdom of heaven where He resides? Its organizational structure is very simple. The people who can go to the spirit, the people who can go to the kingdom of heaven and paradise are not those who live only for themselves. Such people are not permitted to go there. The kingdom of heaven is a place where only those who were born for the whole and live for the whole can go. The kingdom of heaven and hell in the spirit world. Through the fall of Adam and Eve, This planet Earth came to be under rule of Satan, and hell was created in the spirit world. Therefore, the territory in which Satan can rule extends to the realm of hell on earth and the realm of the hell in the spirit world. This is why they need to be liberated. If there had been no fall, hell on earth and hell in the spirit world will never have existed, and only the ideal kingdom of heaven would have. This is why they need to be liberated. If there had been no fall, hell on earth and hell in the spirit world would never have existed, and only the ideal kingdom of heaven would have established on earth and in the spirit world as a single continuous reality. However, because of the fall, two worlds that could be ruled by Satan came into being. Satan's dominion over this world, therefore, needs to be nullified. If the body and mind are not united, the realm of disunity becomes Satan's territory. Neither hell nor heaven exist separately from you. They are both within you. Only when centered on love, you can work to discipline your body, transcend your whole life, and love and serve others beyond your individual limits. You can bring a complete end to this evil, profane world. Through such heavenly teaching, when God's ethics are established in the family, the tribe, the people, the nation, and the world will become the kingdom of heaven on earth. The people who live in the kingdom of heaven on earth will transition just as they are to the kingdom of heaven in the spirit world. The original palace or true love is the reproductive organs. True love is absolute because true love is unique and unchanging. It is absolute. That is why when we study past generations, we can see that when love is in order, it leads to the breakdown of the family, the society, and the nation. In the case of Sodom and Gomorrah, the family, the society, and the nation broke down because the order of love was destroyed. The result is nothing but destruction. In hell, consequently, heaven and hell do not exist separately. That is why, even if you live in a hellish environment, it does not mean you will go to hell. Whether you go to heaven or hell depends on you. The basis for the corruption of true love is you and only you. And the only place where true love and true life the only place where true love and true lineage can be violated is the reproductive organs. By no means they should be defiled. What kind of place is the kingdom of heaven on earth? If there is a place on earth where people do their best not to become indebted, but instead try to help each other rid themselves of debt, that place is the kingdom of heaven on earth. Then what kind of place is the kingdom of heaven in the spirit world? The kingdom of heaven is not a place for people with debts. The kingdom of heaven, I know, does not have people like that. Those who during their life on earth work to get rid of their nation's debt, humanity's debt. The kingdom of heaven, I know, does not have people like that. Those who, during their life on earth, work to get rid of their nation's debt. Humanity's debt and all debts in front of God are the ones who can go to the kingdom of heaven. On the other hand, those who become indebted to their nation, to others, and to God end up not in heaven but in hell. The position of a person who has striven to get rid of debts is always a victorious one. Such a person was victorious in the past, is victorious today, and we will be victorious in the future. The kingdom of heaven is a place where you can go with authority of having triumph in getting rid of debts. If you are 50 years old and you have lived more than 25 of those years for the sake of the universe in accordance with heavenly principle and heavenly law, then you will go to the kingdom of heaven. If you live in such a manner, you can traverse the boundaries to dwell in the good spirit world. But if you have lived your life of 50 years putting yourself first, more often than not, you should realize, even though it may be disappointing, you will go not to the original homeland of goodness, but to the homeland of evil, that is hell. If you live for yourself more often than not in the past, you should end that life and disavow it, in endeavoring to make the rest of your life one in which you live for the nation, the world, heaven, earth, and God. If you do this from this point on, you will go towards the ideal of heaven, towards the ideal world of heaven. It is written in the Bible that the kingdom of heaven is within you in Luke 17:21. This means the kingdom of heaven is the place that is this means the kingdom of heaven is the place that is in oneness with God's love. And that love should be in your heart. The words you the words "you are in me and I am in you" are not an abstraction, as in John 17:21. Those words are possible when they are rooted in love. Fallen human beings are finding their way toward that day in which God's love can be manifested through their body and mind. The explosive love of God will shine forth, and the body, which has been twisted out of shape over thousands of years, will be able to become one with God. That day is a day of fear and revolution in Satan's world, and a day of ecstasy and victory in heaven's world. When you stand in that position, you will know God's love. It will be so wonderful that your cells will tingle. You will feel all your bones and flesh harmonize and bound together. You will feel as though all your five senses have become one. Blessed families should all be able to become sacrificial offerings for the nation. This is the starting point to determine whether you will go to heaven or hell. Going to heaven or hell is not determined by how well you know the Bible or how well you can speak. What matters are your actual results for God and your heart. In the end, the boundary between heaven and hell is the boundary of heart and a boundary of actual results. You should liberate your conscience. Your mind is the checkpoint of heaven, and your body is the checkpoint of hell. Does your body drag your mind around, or does your mind have true dominion over your body? For those who follow religion, their minds give clear direction to their bodies. And for those who do not follow religion, in 10 cases out of 10, their bodies drag their minds around. The latter gives consumed by themselves, and that is the difference. Each of you is the starting point of hell, therefore, and also the starting point of heaven. If you live according to your mind, you will go to heaven. And if you live according to your body, you will go to hell. If you live for the sake of others, you will go to heaven. And if you insist on living for your own sake, you will go to hell. There is no marriage in the spirit world. Think for a moment about how serious a problem that is. By comparison, missing an arm or a leg is really not a problem. That being the case, should you complain or not? You cannot complain. You should rejoice. Even while shedding tears, you should go forward, rejoicing and happy. You yourself determine whether you go to heaven or hell. That decision does not lie with me, and thus it does not lie with God. You are the one who decides that. When you habitually complain, you end up in hell. Yet when you go forward with gratitude for a situation you could easily be complaining about, you end up in heaven. What about the spirit world? Since confused people go to the spirit world and gather there, that realm is certainly chaotic. People who develop the habit of stealing will always end up stealing something. Thus, people who stole on earth will naturally want to get something for nothing in the spirit world. Because it was difficult to handle such people in the spirit world, hell originated. God did not make hell, it came into being through people. Do people first prepare a trash can and then start building their house? It is, it is only after building and living in the house that one comes to need the trash can. The existence of hell is similar to that. To commit, to commit suicide is the worst of sin, because suicide is an atrocity that actually destroys part of the universe. Such a person should go to the lowest level of hell. Once you know this fact, you cannot commit suicide. You are the being who connects your parents' lives. In other words, you are the union of two lives of your father and mother. You are connected together in you. They are connected together in you. And you are also a participant in your parents' love. You are in you are one body. You are one in body with your parents' love. You are one in love. Hell is such a place that Hell is such a place that once you are trapped there, you can never go out by yourself. You do not truly realize the fact that your mother and father and relatives are going to hell. You just say things will work out somehow, and that it is. But try to realize that your beloved parents really are going to hell. Human affection is such that if you found out that your parents are going to prison on earth, you would cry your heart out and try to liberate them by doing anything and everything. How much more then would the sons and daughters who are connected to their kin through heavenly love try to do if they learn that their parents, relatives, and brothers and their parents, this is so sad. How much more, then, would the sons and daughters who are connected to their kin through heavenly love try to do if they learn that their parents, heaven, relatives, and brothers and sisters were going to a prison from which they could never be able to escape? You do not know anything yet. You do not know whether there is hell or not. And even if you have an idea that hell exists, you do not know what kind of place it is. It is undoubtedly a vague idea for you. However, you will know when you die. You will know all at once when you die. But then it will be too late. When the Lord of the second advent arrives, he will create a new ideal realm in paradise which is not heaven, and the bottom of hell. Cain and Abel will be restored in the bottomless pit of hell, and in the new realm of God's family will be created. Through the realization of the new realm of God's tribe, the new realm of God's people, nation, and world, everybody on earth has to be restored through indemnity. Cain and Abel needs to be restored through indemnity. People have to absorb and digest everything and build a unified world, then organize the empty realms of the spirit world through the earthly world. Without a major upheaval in the spirit world, there will be no way for God to release his sorrow and realize his cherished will to build the heavenly kingdom. That is why Jesus said, whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loose in heaven. In Matthew 18:18. The kingdom of heaven will not be established in the spirit world without first established on earth. The astonishing reality is that without establishing the sovereignty of the heavenly nation on earth, the good sovereignty cannot be recovered in the spirit world. That is reality for us, human being who is alive and at this time living in history. We are the one who can create that heavenly world in the spirit world through living our life here on earth in a way in accordance to God and His principle and His love. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for so much for listening. And may God bless you and your family. And let's go with love, with God, with love, peace, harmony, and a life that is lived for the sake of others. Thank you so much for watching and listening.